Hi, everybody. Dan Illman here with the DRF race of the day for Wednesday, February the 12th. It's race number 10 at Gulfstream Park. Let's take a look at the field. This is a wide open optional claimer going 1 1/16 on the turf. You can download free formulator past performances for this race on the Race of the Day event page at DRF.com. Access them, handicap along with me. There are so many different ways to go in a race like this that you might want to consider a price. Just looking at the first 8 horses on the list, you see some strong contenders. Balarax at 7-2 is running some graded stakes races, as has Maraud, Monarch's Glen. The 13 and 14 are entered main track only. We throw up the Timeform US pace projector for this race, and we're expecting the 11, Salute with Honor, to go out there for the early lead. And I have no arguments with that. Salute with Honor is a true speed horse that does his best running on the lead. But I wouldn't be surprised if the 4, War Giant, stretching out off a 6-furlong sprint in which he showed speed, is going to be close to that early pace as well. And maybe this pace heats up a little bit and sets things up for some stalkers and closers. Down towards the rail is the number 1, Musical Heart, and it just seems like Musical Heart is better on the dirt than he is the turf. His most recent race over a wet track at Gulfstream West resulted in a 93 Beyer speed figure performance. The last time he tried turf was way back in October of 2018. He was off the board in a key race. The winner was in very sharp form, a horse that came back to run second in the Claiming Crown Emerald with an 88, second again in a starter optional with a 91, second in the graded Tropical Turf with a 95, and then won a restricted stake with a 94. So Musical Heart took on a good field of entry-level optional claimers that day, but I still get the feeling that this horse is better on dirt, and he is coming off a little bit of a layoff. The number 2 is Golden Dragon. When Golden Dragon is not put in over his head in races like the Grade 3 Sycamore, the Grade 2 McDermott, or the El Prado, or the Tropical Park Derby, or the Grade 3 Transylvania, races where he's at least 72-1, when you put him in spots where he fits, he often outruns his odds, and he has a formulator fact in his corner. This is his second race for trainer Michael Maker, and Maker over the past 5 years with horses aged 4 and up in turf routes off a 61-day layoff in optional claiming races. It's very specific, but it's very good. Almost a 30% win percentage, a $3.74 return on investment. This horse can improve second time off a 3+ month layoff. Jose Ortiz retains the mount 15-1 in the morning line on Golden Dragon. The one concern, 6 starts at Gulfstream, has never hit the board. Something tells me Maker can move this horse up as he stretches out from 7.5 to 1 1/16. Another horse making that similar stretch out is the number 3, Gunnison, third start of the form cycle for a very shrewd trainer. This horse has kind of been stuck, though, in the high 70s, low 80 Beyer range, and that's just not going to get it done against this tough optional claiming group. I think that this horse is slowly rounding himself back into shape. This is his 3rd race since a summer break, but I believe he is going to have to improve a bit in order to threaten for top honors, 20-1 on the morning line. War Giant could be part of this pace picture. We have not seen him since September when he sprinted on the dirt. He might be better on the dirt, 3 for 9 lifetime on that surface. He has yet to win from 3 starts on the turf. His most recent turf race was 2 starts back in the summertime. He faced a pretty good field that day. The winner came back to run second in the Mr. Steele Stakes with an 85 Beyer. The runner-up, Galleon Mask, is a nice Florida bred. Came back to run second in a stake with a 90 Beyer. Won the Sunshine Millions Turf Preview with an 85, and then ran second in the Sunshine Millions Turf with a 95 Beyer speed figure. War Giant, again, does have good speed, but is coming off a little bit of a layoff. One of the things you might want to consider is that this horse is making his first start for trainer Safi Joseph, who is winning at almost 30% at this meet, just seems to be improving horses left and right, and you note the workouts. Bullets, 4 furlongs, 46 and change, a couple of them, and sandwiched in between those works, 5 furlongs, 59 and change. War Giant's probably going to show some stretch out speed in here. Projected is the number 5, and Projected was a graded stakes winner for Chad Brown in 2017, but after that race kind of took on the role of a bridesmaid. He ran well and he ran fast in some good races. He just could never get over the hump, and at the Keeneland November sale in 2019, he sold for $42,000. Eddie Keneally picked him up, ran him for $75,000 last time out, And I thought Projected ran okay. We're going to watch that race right now. He's in pocket position down towards the inside with the white blaze, and he's going to get clear just about right here, and he's going to make a run. It's just not good enough to catch Gemintier, who was able to control a very easy pace. This was not a bad start at all for Projected. He got a good trip. He happened to get the second best trip in the race. The winner had the best trip. Projected has the tactical speed to get good trips. He has back class. He also likes to pick up minor awards. 13 seconds from 31 lifetime starts, and again, has not won a race since that grade 2 back in 2017. But the last effort, promising enough. First time for Keneally. The 6 is Profiteer, another horse with back ability. Profiteer was graded stakes placed in 2017 when a 3-year-old in the Commonwealth Derby. He was terrible in his most recent start back in June. Something physically must have gone wrong. It was a 5-horse field. He got beat 63 lengths, and he went to the sidelines for about 8 months. The third place finisher of that race, Mr. Misunderstood, is a very good horse. Came back to run third in the Kentucky Downs preview stakes with an 88 buyer at Ellis Park. Profiteer has fast races and tactical speed. Robert Medina is Shug McGahee's assistant. Shug is serving as a suspension right now. Don't worry too much about that trainer change. Bullet workout on January the 27th. He has some back class. I wonder if he's going to need a race off of the layoff. Let's talk a little bit about My Barley. Now, My Barley just ran over the weekend in the Tampa Bay Stakes, finished 5th at 51-1, was simply overmatched in that race. I didn't think he ran badly. Tried to get into it with a 4-wide bid on the turn. The jockey aborted that move when it realized he wasn't going anywhere, and he finished evenly in between horses. All in all, not a bad starting off point. It's possible My Barley will not run wheeling back on such short notice, but it is worth noting that the trainer Anthony Granitz has had success wheeling horses back on this kind of 1 to 7 day break. This horse is interesting to me, especially if the pace heats up, because he occasionally outruns his odds in big races, and he has run some figures in the past that makes him competitive with this field. The 8 is Frostmorn, and Frostmorn was one of the better 3-year-old turf horses in 2017, winning a couple of graded stakes races. His career has been plagued by injuries. He has only raced once since October of 2018. That was last time out at Gulfstream in the race we just saw where Projected ran second. Frostmorn was the 4-5 favorite despite that long layoff, was very rank and headstrong. Irad Ortiz had a whale of a time trying to get this horse to relax early. He pushed Gemintier for 6 furlongs, and he tired to finish last. He is expected to improve off of that race, especially with this formulator fact in his corner for Christophe Clement. Past 5 years, horses aged 4 and up, turf routes. First off, a 61-day or greater layoff in optional claiming races at Gulfstream. 28% winners, 255 ROI. Frostmorn is another horse that can show speed. The key for him is to relax early in behind, and maybe he can get first run on the closers, turning into the lane. The number 9 is Maraud. This horse was claimed for $80,000 at Saratoga and immediately paid some dividends, running third in the Grade 3 Red Bank Stakes. He went to the sidelines after that race for a while, came back in January at Gulfstream for Joe Orsino, ran in the Grade 3 Tropical Turf, took money. 9-2, he's on the outside in the 4-path in the white noseband. You're going to notice that Maraud hangs on his left lead all the way down to the wire. He was very late to change leads in the Red Bank. He's on his left lead here, but he's still trying hard to finish third. He earned a very respectable 90 buyer speed figure in this race. He's a horse that obviously, like Gulfstream, can move forward in his second start of the form cycle and has the tactical speed to adapt to any kind of a pace scenario. He also has a formulator fact in his corner for Joe Orsino. Past 4 years, horses aged 4 and up, second off a layoff of 120 days or greater in turf routes, 27% winners, a 258 ROI. Monarch's Glen's a fascinating horse. This horse was a group stakes winner in England in 2017 when owned by Juddmonte Farm. This horse also went through the auction ring at Keeneland November, was purchased for $95,000, turned over to Danny Gargan. He has raced once at this Gulfstream meet, and he just was outpaced early. That's Monarch's Glen. It doesn't appear like he has a ton of early speed in these sort of middle distance races, and he finished evenly on the far outside. Danny Gargan's been red hot, as we see from this formulator fact. Over the past 2 months, horses aged 4 and up on turf, 6 for 11, 629 ROI. Interesting that blinkers come on here for Monarch's Glen. I have a feeling that maybe the blinkers are what Monarch's Glen needs to improve. He's a long shot to consider. And again, in a race like this with so many contenders, it's worth looking at prices. Salute with Honor at 20-1. Timeform US believes he can make a clear lead. I think it could be a little bit more contested than Timeform US. If Timeform US is right, this horse might be long gone. He's only raced twice on the turf. But consider his first start on the turf was in his second lifetime race as a 2-year-old, and it ended up being stakes placed. And the last time was a turf sprint back in July of 2018. He's a different horse now. He ran in the Sunshine Millions Classic. He showed good speed on the dirt. He tired to finish fourth. He is a solid synthetic horse for Mark Casse. I think a mile and a 16th is a very good distance for him. And if these other horses let Salute with Honor go, he might make them pay at a big price. Ballaroc's one of the class horses in this race. He was only beaten 3 lengths in the 2017 Breeders' Cup Mile, second in the Grade 1 Makers 46 Mile in 2018. But like so many other horses in this race, injuries have derailed his progress. His most recent race was his first race in about 8 months, and he ran pretty well. We're going to take a look at that race right now. 2-turn, 7.5 furlong event for Ballaroc's. He's in the green silks on the outside, and we can forgive him a bit for hanging in the last 16th of a mile. It was his first race off such of a long layoff. He probably just got a little bit tired here. He finished ahead of 3 of these common foes in this race, and it's nice to see him back in the entries without another pesky layoff line ruining his form. Ballaroc's is a strong contender. Post position 12, I don't think is a great bargain for Ballaroc's, and Luis Saez has some choices to make. He can follow the 11 out of there and try to ease in without losing too much ground and gain a mid-pack position because this horse has tactical speed, or he can just break, drop to the rail, and try to come with one strong late run and hope for race and pace luck. Don't love the post, and Ballaroc's, you know he's going to be bet. There was a point in time, a 5-race triple-digit buyer streak from June 18th, 2017, April 13th, 2018. When he's on his game, he's very good. This is a skull buster of a race. I am spreading in any kind of multiple race wager, but I want to use prices. We take a look at my top pick in here. I'm fascinated if my Barrelly comes back on like 2 or 3 days rest. I think it might be unlikely, but I also think he got enough out of that Tampa Bay Stakes, his first race of the year, that if he does run here and there is some pace, he's going to come at a good price and he's going to make a little bit of noise. He's my top selection in here, but Monarch's Glen the 10, adding blinkers, second time for the red-hot Danny Gargan barn. He's a horse that can pick things up if this pace falls apart. Salute with Honor, the 11, kind of want to cover with him in case the pace doesn't fall apart, and Timeform US is right, and he is able to get to the front. Maraud the 9, very, very logical. I'm going 7, 10, 11, and 9. Race 10 at Gulfstream. What a tough race for the race of the day on Wednesday. Approximate post time, 5:33 Eastern. Best of luck.